Yes, my people, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome back to another AFTV Live. Now, listen, forgive us for the late, start to this show. I have to mention it because it was a bit later, but
it was a little bit late.
It was a little bit later.
Apologies.
But we are prepping a really good show. We're going to be looking at all the fixtures to come for Arsenal Football Club, having a bit of conversation around that, and also our competition. Man City, Man United, who they played so far, the results they picked up and who they've also got to come. So stay with us through that. We're going to go straight into that to begin with. And there's obviously other news that we're going to be speaking about. I went down to the stadium. You may have seen on the social media. The new artwork's being put up. And I'll be honest, it's looking lovely. It's looking lovely, which we'll come to that eventually in the show as well. And I really want to have a discussion on Florin Balogun. I really want to talk about him. I really want to get you guys' opinions on what should we do with him at the end of not that we're going to get rid of him, but what would you do with him at the end of the season? Another loan? Do we bring him back? Does he have a place in the side? We're going to have a load of conversation around that. But main conversation, we're going to start with the rearrangement of the Everton game, the Everton fixture. We've got round 2 coming up against them very soon. Sooner than, well, you let me know, sooner than you wanted or not.
Certainly sooner than I expected. I mean, we're well into February now, and I say well into, but you get my point.
Yeah,
it's not exactly the 1st of Feb, and we now know that this game is coming in a couple of weeks' time. Right. I'm quite happy about it. I don't want the games in hand lingering till later in the season. I think get the team playing. I also think there's over the next couple of weeks we have quite a lot of game, 7 days off, game, 7 days off, game, 7 days off. Then the Europa League comes back. Then there's just the stress of a title race if we hopefully maintain this form despite we'll turn it around after the Everton away defeat. So I think it's actually quite a good thing that we've got it coming up sooner rather than later. We're going to have a little look in a bit, what Arsenal's next sort of handful of games come up, because I think April the 1st is a very interesting date, and I'll explain why when we get into it. But yes, sooner than I expected, but I can't say I'm unhappy with it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys, are you unhappy with it being so soon? Is coming up on March the 1st, is the time that we play Everton again. Does it feel like teams are starting to get Arsenal's number in a sense of, how to beat them or how to frustrate Arsenal? Do we have enough time to prepare, maybe with the new signs or just with the side we have right now to go on and beat teams, break them down, find ways of, coming up against teams that are just going to do low blocks and be very resolute when it comes to defending. Of course, I think Everton gave us a bit more of a battle when it came to that. They actually attacked a lot more than we saw when Newcastle came to the Emirates and just sat back and wasted time. But March the 1st, people, are you guys happy with that? Do you think, by the time we get there, it'll be revenge time, it's going to be at the Emirates, it'll be different? Will there be a different result in that?
I think it's maybe, look, we kind of played Sean Dyche at the worst time and Everton at the worst time, what with the new manager, and maybe some might have seen it as a good time because of the disappointment of the end of the transfer window for Everton. But I just think the Dyche effect and the fact that they had a new manager, I think they were always going to be, Goodison Park, it's always a brilliant crowd. The Everton home crowd are always fantastic. But B, I just think naturally he was always going to want to see an instant response from his team. The players always know that a manager like Dyche is going to work you really hard. They responded to that. So I think in some ways that was the worst time. But I think if you're looking at a good time to play Everton, where I don't know what their fixtures are around that game, and around us, that might play a part. I think there's something about playing them not so near the end of May. Well, by the way, I think they'll comfortably stay up. But let's just say they're still in that fight. I think you don't want to be playing them mid-April, and further on. I think having them early March, first day of March, actually probably lines up quite nicely. So we will see, because I don't think it's ever that nice. Although our record against Dyche at the Emirates, I think, actually I say that, then we've drawn and lost we did. We drew and lost our last 2 games at home to a Sean Dyche Burnley side. However, my point is, generally we do quite well against them at home.
Big up Shorty AFC with super chat, says Sky Sports James and Hollywood Cecil. 2 goats. Big up Shorty. I'll take that. Yeah. And then got a comment here from Arsenal 1886, says, James, you are the best, but Cecil is so funny. Cannot be serious watching him.
I'll take it as a compliment. Yeah.
I like to enjoy life and have fun with it. Right, let's get into what we've been preparing for this show. Let's get into it. James, you did all the work behind this. I'm going to let you run through it, and it should spark a lot of debate and conversation in the sense of what's to come.
This whole Excel sheet is very much inspired by / low-key copied from, I don't know if you follow Renato, Arsenal fan on Twitter. Go check him out. He speaks brilliantly about the game, knows his players superbly. But there was a section which you're going to see later in the show. I'll just give you a little preview, which is looking at how Arsenal, Man United and Man City have done in games. So we're going to have a look at that, and that is quite, I mean, I quite literally have copy and pasted his homework, I'm not going to lie, but I just thought it was a great way of looking at it, and I wanted to A, credit him on that, but B, use that to sort of have a wider discussion here. But we've added to it as well Man United's set of results and upcoming fixtures, while also looking, at the fixtures and what Arsenal have left. Now, we have a favourable. Looking at it just directly, taken from what I was reading, next five games. Okay, even actually the next, what have you just highlighted? 10? So I think that's the next 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so the next 9, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 home games in our next 9. I think there's no easy games.
We have to make that very clear. We understand it's the Premier League. There's no easy games, but
there's an opportunity for Arsenal over the next 9 to build some serious momentum before you hit Liverpool away, West Ham away, Southampton at home, City away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away. That's a killer 6. Yeah. That is a tricky 6.
That is.
And I think there's an opportunity in that next 9 for Arsenal to put together a degree of momentum. Now, January was a killer month, and they came through it really well. I've got no doubt we can do something at Anfield. I've got no doubt we can do something at the Etihad with the way we play there in the cup tie. Newcastle's actually the one I fear the most, just because of the way their squad is built.
I agree.
They can really cause problems to this Arsenal team in terms of stifling our style of play. Whereas I think Liverpool and City always want to go quite punch for punch. I think that maybe suits us a little bit.
City, I'm still worried. Listen, of course. I'm still worried about them. Yeah. You were there as well, but I think Newcastle is a worry there. But I must say, those next 9 favourable, like we mentioned. No game is easy, of course not.
No game is easy, but they are an opportunity for Arsenal.
I like how you're using it like that. An opportunity.
They're an opportunity for Arsenal
to make a big gap on what we're going for. Obviously, the Premier League title there, and we need to remember we're unbeaten still at home. So
that's the Everton game I've highlighted there.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big one.
It's going to come. Leicester's a weekend game. Then you've got Bournemouth the week after at home. I think it's a week after. I don't think there's a break. And then Everton at home then. So that's just a nice week for Arsenal in terms of 2 home games against teams the wrong side of the table. Look, it's not easy. It's not, because Villa are rejuvenated under Emery, albeit a bad result against Leicester. But then Leicester just scored 4 against Emery's Villa as well. So they're just never easy places to go. We went and won at both their places last season. We got 2 clean sheets. Hopefully we could do the same again. But yeah, they're not particularly easy games. But I just think up to that point where then we face Liverpool, we'll just show it again. Liverpool away, West Ham away, Southampton at home, City away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away, and then we end on Brighton home, Forest away, Wolves home. That's a 3 games to end the season that doesn't daunt me like Tottenham away, Newcastle away, and Everton at home did. Right. So there's that positive. But I think it's an opportunity, because I don't think those games, the 6 after those 9, are going to be particularly favourable at all. And I think Arsenal need to try and capitalise on that, so that they remove the pressure before 3 games that will feel, listen, if we're still in the hunt by that point, that will feel like a lot of pressure anyway. It doesn't matter who you're playing, but at least there'll be somewhat favourable opponents.
Okay, let's look across the last 3 games for all clubs then, because you're saying that where's the one at the bottom there? We've got Brighton at home, going to be a tricky fixture for us, and then Forest away and Wolves, but then a lot of these teams will be fighting for relegation, some of these teams here. So do you want to be playing them? They're going to be at their peak trying to survive. I mean, Everton might be down there for Man City away. Chelsea, obviously not going to be fighting for relegation, but it's a tough game to play Chelsea. Sort of Man City having, and Brentford away that's a tough game anyway, regardless. They're not going to be fighting for relegation. That's a tough game. And then Man United have Bournemouth, Fulham and Brentford. I mean, Man United, that seems quite...
Well, should we look through... Let's go with City, because
all right, let's go.
They've got Villa at home next before they travel to Arsenal, travel to Forest, then travel to Bournemouth. I mean, I just think at any point you don't want 3 away games in a row. Didn't Guardiola just complain about the trip to London?
Yeah, he did. Oh, that excuse, by the way.
So,
that was outrageous.
Not great, is it?
That was terrible.
But, 3 away games no one necessarily wants. Newcastle, I just think they're difficult to play home or away. Palace away, but they tend to come through that kind of tie City. West Ham, Liverpool at home, Southampton away, Leicester at home. I think before they get to Brighton away, I actually think, you got Newcastle at home, you got Liverpool away, Arsenal away, Liverpool. I actually think City
Well, they manage that. They manage through
if
that.
they can get things sorted behind the scenes and Guardiola can just go back to what he knows, I think they will sense a little bit of an opportunity there. I don't see many games there, apart from the fact that there's 4 away games in 5 for them. I mean, look at this. Away, 1, 2, 3, 4. Either side, in 5 games. Apart from that, I don't think there's much that I'm looking at going, oh, I'm super hopeful City will drop points here. I more need Arsenal to do their job.
Okay,
and actually, the nice-ish runs kind of coincide. If that makes sense.
Let's do clarity of where does each team lose it? Where do they drop? Where's the tough patch?
Right.
So for us, you mentioned Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle. That's that section there for us. For City, it will be just
Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle. That's a horrible 6 games.
I put Brighton in there as well.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Okay, so that's where we could potentially.
Forest fighting for their lives. Look, no game's easy. You can make any argument for any fixture we've got here.
That one sticks.
But there's some in particular that I don't like going to the Etihad. I don't like going to Anfield. I don't West Ham. I mean, I know they're not at their best, but they're turning things around. They're fighting as well. And then Chelsea's just always a big game. For Man City, in terms of really tricky runs, again, maybe Brighton away, Arsenal home, Fulham away. Maybe that 3 is awkward. 2 away games, and then Arsenal, who obviously top of the league, a trip to Everton and a trip to Brentford, and not with Chelsea at home. I guess that's not ideal, but I expect them to look. I'm sort of past looking for too many favours. City have been sloppy. They've lost games they shouldn't lose. So I think really maybe this is all a bit pointless. But what I do know is that I think we've had enough favours.
Yeah.
And if we do our jobs in our games against City, then I think we can be confident because there is an opportunity for a run there. If we look at Man United, and I'll include Man United in this. I know we beat them and it felt like that was maybe the end of it in terms of their title race, but we lost to Everton, they won, and things changed very quickly. And they've played City and Arsenal already. We're going to look at that in a second, actually. But they've got Leeds at home, followed by Leeds away.
Which straight away, that's a derby. In their sense, that's
manager bounce.
Yeah, the new manager bounce. I see Jesse Marshall's gone.
They're actually placed not favourably for United. Just in the sense that you might get the new manager bounce from the fact that they're travelling to Old Trafford, followed by the fact that it's the first game at Ellen Road with a new manager.
Right.
So, but look, I'm sure they'll come through that because Leeds haven't been that good. They do have a lot of good players: McKennie, Adams, Brendan Aronson as well. Then Leicester at home again. Leicester, are they going to turn it around? Are they on the up? I don't know. I know they won, at Villa, but we'll see. Liverpool away, always tricky. Liverpool will be up for that. Don't think that the Anfield crowd are going to let Liverpool just kind of stroll through that one. Same you can say about the one against us, to be fair.
Yeah.
Southampton at home, Brighton away tricky, Newcastle away tricky, Everton. So it's really these 4. Liverpool away, Southampton at home, Brighton away, Newcastle away. That's where it gets a little bit awkward.
The back-to-back leads. I know they're not doing so great this season, but manager bounce, the fans will be up for it. So it can get hostile. It can get very hostile at Leeds, Man United. I had that in there. Leicester, I'll skip out, but yeah, I think the Leeds home and away. It'll be interesting to see that those next games. Then the Liverpool, Southampton, Brighton, and Newcastle. The reason why I'm doing this, where do you think the teams could drop points, is because I thought when we first did this, when we discussed this, James, I thought Arsenal have got a nice run, favourable run to the end of the season. And now I'm
mixed.
Of course, because everyone's got to play each other. But I'm just now thinking, maybe it's not as, when you look at that section of Arsenal we just spoke about, it doesn't seem as nice as, I don't know, I guess United's side. It's still difficult, but
United have got a lot of big trips out the way. They've gone to the Etihad, they've gone to Arsenal, they've gone to Chelsea. But you know what? We're going to be clearing all that up in a second, actually. So just to go through the rest of their run. Everton at home, Forest away, Chelsea at home, Tottenham away. Again, that's kind of not an ideal sort of 2 back-to-back fixtures. Before Villa at home, West Ham away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, and then Brentford at home to be added somewhere in that. That's why it's got a little star next to it, a little asterisk, because we don't know where that will be placed. So I think you could say Arsenal have a much clearer, that looks like an all right run, and this looks a really difficult run. But I think in terms of the splitting of fixtures, it's pretty even. And this, again, and I said it earlier in the show, I'm going to say it one more time, I've totally copied what Renato put together on Twitter. But I just thought it was a brilliant illustration, and that's why I'm giving him credit, and that's why I wanted to have a little look at it on this show here. So what we've got, we've just made that as clear as possible for all of you. We've obviously got all the teams in the table where they are at the moment, and then who Arsenal, Man City and United have played at home and away. Green means they won, orange means they drew, red means they lost. Now, again, really, if you look at the white boxes, that just tells you what's left to do. 2 games against Man City. I think Man United will be really happy about that because they know that Arsenal and City are going to come to blows twice, whereas United have had games with both. Won both their home, lost both their away, but that's job done for them.
Are people still saying that to you, James? When you're out in the street and they say, are we going to win the league? And they say, and then if we say, yeah, I believe now, and then there'll be another fan being like, oh, but you got to play City twice still. Do you still get that? Because is that still as much of a fear for Arsenal fans from what you've seen? Obviously, what the result.
I think it's turning more into an opportunity and an excitement, okay, I really can't wait to face City in the League of the Emirates. But you can't doubt them. They lost at Anfield, but then they went into Chelsea in the second half, played really well. And I know they lost at Old Trafford, but some of the football was really good in that second half. And had it not been for an offside goal for Bruno Fernandes, that really shouldn't have stood. While United deserved it over the 90 minutes, but that second half, I think the way it was going, had it not been for a goal that I don't think should stand, I actually think they come out and win that game, City. So yeah, you can never write them off, even though they're not at their best. So look, we're talking about this. We've just come off the back of a defeat to Everton. We've actually lost
2 defeats.
We've lost 2 in a row, because that includes the game at the Etihad.
Yep.
We've actually only won 2 of our last 5, Newcastle drew at home, Tottenham away won, United at home won, City away lost.
But it's okay.
Everton away lost.
It's okay. We don't need to. It's all right. There's still no panic. But it's the
funny.
truth.
You can say things how you want to. You
can put things. You can portray things. How
you can also dress it up as we had a great, January in the league, and we did. Just before that Newcastle draw, we beat Brighton, we beat West Ham.
Yeah.
So you
dress up. I like what Mark said here. Mark _ says unpopular opinion. I'd much rather play City than United again.
At the moment, I hear that.
Yeah, I do. At the moment,
I hear that for sure.
And I think someone said I'm confident for City at home. And I feel at the start of the season or a few months ago, I was worried about these 2 fixtures against City. Now I'm relishing at the idea of City coming to the Emirates and seeing what they put out.
Let's sorry, I also just wanted to hone on this point as well. If we just look at sort of some of these remaining fixtures, just some of the things that stand out to me. Arsenal still have a trip to City, and they still have a trip to Newcastle. While City still have to come to the Emirates, they have already gone to United, to Newcastle, to Tottenham, to Chelsea, and to Liverpool. That is a lot of the big grounds they've already done.
Yeah, fair.
And I know they're in bad form, but bad by their standards, because they did win a couple before that, but they've just not looked at their very best, I think it's fair to say. Out the cup, lost the Manchester derby, lost at Tottenham, but they have got a lot of those kind of really horrible trips out the way. United, on the other hand, have pretty much played all the top 6 at home, and they still have to go to Newcastle, they need to go to Tottenham, and they need to go to Brighton. Tottenham, I think, are going to turn a corner now. I know no one likes to hear it. I do. I think they're going to actually show pretty strong form towards the end of this, through to the end of the season. So there's lots of, another thing that stands out to me, Arsenal still have to play at home against all the bottom 4.
Just look at
Leeds,
that, people.
Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton. All need to come to the Emirates.
I know you might be on a small screen, you might be on your phone, but just take in that home record there. I keep talking about it, but yeah, unbeaten there. Obviously, there's 1 draw in there as Newcastle. It's all greens apart from that and white, but yeah.
City.
If you look at everyone else's home records.
On the other hand, need to go to all of the bottom 3.
Away.
You might go, oh yeah, but isn't that quite nice? I'm not sure it is.
Definitely not.
Because I think, I think you're going to come up against sides more motivated than ever before to keep it out of their net and just to get any point they can. They have to go to Southampton, who they lost to in the Cup earlier this season. So, again, what's the point in this? Maybe nothing. Maybe there's no point.
Of course there is.
But I think we should fill this in throughout and then just touch base maybe every couple of weeks and just go, okay, so where are we now? What's left and what do we think? Because that is I don't know, it's very interesting when you just sort of have a little look at who needs to go where, and then you look at how it's all scattered and displayed, and then try to come up with a feeling on how Arsenal will do based off that and the results and the fixtures. So I'm going to ask you, having looked at all this, has it made you, I'm going to ask comments as well, has it made you feel more or less confident about winning the league?
When we was discussing it and building this show, I was like, like I said before, our run's favourable. Now going through it and everyone else's run, I got a bit of a wobble, but then going back to the form table, this gives me a bit more hope in a sense of, we've got such a good home record and the teams have got to play at home. I'm confident we'll pick up points over. So better, I think more confident. The first half of the show, not so confident, because I look at the teams, but now looking at this, and if Arsenal just continue how they've been playing and we keep a strong 11, we're on better form, and obviously that's why we're top of the league than the other clubs, and I'm confident. This is better. I'd like to hear what the comments have to say about it. I know a lot of them are talking about reading the super chats, which we'll get to in a second, but yes, better.
For me, there's two caveats. Firstly, I feel good looking at this, but only because we have the lead we do.
Right.
Which is 5 points with the game in hand. And then even, I think United, it's 8 points with the game in hand. So if it were even, everyone were level on points, I'd be backing City to get through that run. But we don't. We have a little bit of a gap, and we have 2 games against Man City to do something, who are not in their best form, come to the Emirates very, very soon. So I feel more like there's an opportunity there rather than sort of, there's some real hurdles and things to worry about, which there are for sure. And there was a second caveat which I can't remember. But
just quickly, I just want to mention just quickly. I spoke about there. I think when we look at it now, I'm looking at it now, and I'm thinking, like I said, City, the double we need to play against them twice, struck a bit of fear in me as a fan. I'll be honest. It doesn't anymore. If I'm being completely honest, like I said, when we go at home, I'm quite confident. I am worried about Newcastle away. If we had Newcastle away ticked with a nice little green, the rest I'll be like, there's not really too much to worry about, if I'm completely honest. I think, I don't know what it is, Newcastle right now is the one that's striking a bit of fear into me, which is so mad for me saying that. But
we do have a load of not nice away games. Like, forget just City and Newcastle away, obviously. Fulham away.
Come on.
No, but it's not.
Come on, James. London.
They're eighth. Liverpool, Chelsea all failed to win there. United, 94th minute winner. A moment of magic from Kane got Spurs the win. Like, it's not been easy for them. Man City haven't gone to Fulham. Liverpool away, hate going there.
We do.
Villa Park, Forest, Leicester. I mean, look, you could say that any away game. You really could.
You could.
I do think there's like a
paper,
load of away games.
On paper, you look at that and think, I know this is a Premier League, it's the most difficult league and most competitive in the world, but on paper, looking at those games that we have left to play,
no away games, all right.
No, of course.
So I'm saying that, but then I was looking at some of the others we played. I wouldn't like Brighton, I wouldn't like Brentford, I wouldn't like Tottenham, I wouldn't like Wolves, I wouldn't like Palace. I'm pretty sure we've won all of them.
I wouldn't want to do United. I wouldn't want to do United away again. I wouldn't want to do Tottenham away again. I wouldn't want to do. There's a lot of clubs I would not want to do away again, and we've done. So it's ticked. Anyway,
all right. Well, that's that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Nice. I enjoyed that. But let's go to the super chats now, because I know people have been getting frustrated. Shref, forgive us. Don't worry. We're going to dedicate. Everyone's going to get the chance to be spoken on. Shref says, total BS on Pep not knowing, and lies every single football fan and Wenger kept questioning how City and Chelsea kept buying whoever, whenever, Man City and Chelsea out of the Premier League, ! Get them out. He's basically saying, had enough. Obviously, that's in conjunction to Man City, this financial fair play stuff and what's going on there. Okay, again, Raji says, felt weirdly, with a super chat, says, felt weirdly proud watching James on Sky Sports. Imagine how I felt. That's how I felt. Sky Sports James. I'm honoured to be in his presence. Now, big up James, man. He's doing massive things.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I genuinely do. Graham said some really kind words on Tactical Insight. And I don't think I show enough gratitude. But I do really appreciate it.
And the comments on the clip, honestly. Anyway, it's just beautiful. I have to give them up. Come on, got to show love. Give the flowers when they're deserved. Ohan says, worried about yellow cards for Saka and Saliba before the Man City game. I swear that's done now. Done. Just to give you clarity, that's done now.
They need to get 10, and I think they'd get a 2-match ban or a 1-match.
Right. And
basically the threshold now, it doubles as of the 19th game.
Of the 19th game. Thank you. There you go. Hopefully they do not pick up yellows in the next game. Again, so it's abolished. Well, it's not abolished. It's got to do a crazy amount. Shref says thoughts and prayers for Turkish Gooners to stay strong. Listen, spoke with Turkish and he's absolutely. Oh, Turkish Gooners and obviously Turkey and
Syria. It's unbelievably tragic what's happening there.
Yeah, great.
So just thoughts and prayers, and
Action
I don't
Aid,
know what
I believe.
words can I offer.
I believe
so
Action Aid.
sad.
Sorry to cut you, James. Action Aid on you can actually Google it. There you can donate to that as
Oh,
well. I did that
brilliant.
this
Okay,
morning.
good.
Go on Action Aid on Google. Yeah, and you can donate. I did that this morning. It's also on my social media if you want to just click and share and donate wherever you can
Nice.
to the aid of that, because yeah, it is awful. Apologies, I did get that mixed up with. So obviously, Turkish going through a serious thing as well.
For anyone who doesn't know, because I don't know everyone watches Forever Arsenal. I don't know if it's been just mentioned in other shows that Turkish has obviously been away for a while. He lost his nan very recently. Who and I said this on Forever Arsenal. We're all very close to our nans, of course. He was very, very close to his nan, and you know, we just send him all the love and support as well, and strength to his family. And he's very, very missed on this channel.
Massively.
And you see it in the Big Six community and Forever Arsenal and all that. But he will be back, and we look forward to having him back. So we just wish him, you know, again, all the love and support possible.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously speak of him privately, but yeah, sending love to him, Turkey and Syria as well. Yasavi Go says, I really hope Jordan doesn't become an announcer at the Emirates. We cannot afford to play with 10 men versus Brentford since he won't say Xhaka's name.
Can you screenshot that? Again, my comment of the week on Forever Arsenal.
What was it? I was on the show that we was on, wasn't it?
Was a super chat, and I read it out, and they loved it. And I think, God, was that Yasavi?
Yes,
Yasavi was the original. Yeah. Yasavi, just put them in the comments section. I'm kidding. Thank you for the super chat. But of course, we get the comments as well from the comments of the podcast. But
lastly, Shref with the super chat says, if Man City win the Premier League, does it count? Is Pep leaving? And I hear there's words of him. You know, we can discuss all that. Should we touch on it?
Well, look, it was discussed yesterday by Laurie and Curtis. Go check out that show.
Yep. Talk is cheap.
I think Sharoy, who I think we're hoping to get on the channel at some point to discuss it from the Arsenal perspective.
Broke it down.
You might be thinking, what, the Arsenal perspective? But, you know, in terms of what Arsenal can learn from it, we know that there have been murmurings of FFP keeping an eye on Arsenal and stuff. So, you know, it'd be interesting to get Sharoy's thoughts. But Sharoy's sort of background, you know, helps him understand massively in all this, what he does. I believe he works in law, right?
He does work in law. He works in law. Yeah, he speaks so well on legalities and stuff like that.
His understanding. We heard a bit of it on Big Six, and the way he put it was just unbelievable. I'm not going to try and explain it the way he did.
White sheets.
But he basically made the point that, you know, while this is serious, this could also be the Premier League trying to make an example of Man City because of the fact that independent regulators were being pushed to come into the game, and this is the Premier League potentially trying to show a firm stance by cracking down on a club like Man City. But there's still a lot that we have to learn about this. My feeling on it is very simple. First of all, I understand that there's a lot of banter to be had around clubs being finished and all that, and look, I'm all here for it. It's funny, and that's part of the game,
especially in our space, of course.
But there's also a sense of,
is your garden and your house clean before you start laughing?
Well, there's two things. How perfect are our football clubs?
Amen.
And then the second thing is, this is actually a football club that means a lot to people. And if I found out that Arsenal had basically had all this success recently, but now there's serious questions over the legitimacy of that success we had, I'd be gutted. I'd be absolutely devastated. So let's just wait and see what happens. All I hope is that it is the fair outcome, justice. If they have broken all the rules, if they have had this success by breaking financial rules and all that, then they deserve extremely harsh punishment because it brings into question the integrity of the game and football we've been watching recently.
100%.
But we've got to just, I'm waiting to see what is said and what happens because it's really big. Like this isn't small stuff. This is really big stuff. So we'll see.
Okay,
what happens.
My stance is kind of like Hughes.
100 charges.
Hughes from the Big Six. He was very like, I'm just going to wait till it's actually what happens when it's confirmed and it's all announced and we know the punishments. Then he can kind of talk on it. But right now, it's just he doesn't know. I don't know the jargon and all the legalities and all that. That's why Shroy is perfect for this. He will hopefully be able to give his perspective from an Arsenal side and what it means potentially for Arsenal or that side of it, which I'm looking forward to hearing because I watched the Big Six and Troy was on it, and every time he spoke, you learnt from it. But for me right now, I'm taking a step back. But what I do like to do is like to look at some fun, just little fun sides of things. So I'm just going to do one question
before you do.
Go on, do that.
Take this comment from Dave.
Go on.
Yeah, Dave Jordan says there isn't serious questions. It's nonsense. Financial irregularities don't take away from sporting achievements. Dave, there's so much that we don't know about this.
Right.
If any of the financial irregularities or things that they've done have contributed to the arrival of big football managers and big football players that have allowed them to have that success,
which it would have,
then you bet it does have an impact on sporting achievements. It absolutely does. In which case, you can't just shrug that off. Well, the numbers are wrong, but your players still went and played good football and won the league. No, but how? How did it come to that? So, a lot to learn for sure. But I don't think you can just brush this off as well. The two aren't really related, if that is what Dave's saying. And I think it's dangerous to do that. But again, we're going to see. It's been a little bit quieter today, so let's just see what happens in the coming weeks, months. I just hope this. It's
going to take a while. It's not like,
even longer. Yeah,
it's going to be ages. It's going to be this.
I just hope it's not brushed over again. Like just
no. We don't want to see Man City get a fine in like a year at the end of the season.
Oh, that would be like the worst
and it just carries like that would be the most infuriating thing.
That
ever.
would be the worst thing.
Yeah.
If it comes out, Man City been fined.
Just that was a good slap on the wrist.
That's exactly what it'd be like. It would be like a little timid James slap on the wrist. Yeah, you don't want to mess with me. I hope I've sent that warning out now.
My wrist.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad now people know. Don't come at me in the comments.
Quickly.
It could end badly for you. But my point is that if they find them, then it's like, so you're admitting they did wrong.
Yeah.
And the fine doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything. You find
so either don't find him and say, we got it wrong, which would be wild, 100 whatever charges or whatever. But if they have that, you can't allow it.
No, I think listen, you can't, for financial fair play and breaking financial rules, 100 charges, money reasons, and then you fine them. Of course, City are going to pay for it. They're going to pay it. But it is always normally about money. But that is the worst punishment possible. But like I said, I like to find the fun side of things. Just briefly. We don't know the punishments or repercussions, but say if it was this, City, they're like Chelsea, they weren't allowed to make any transfers as signing players, and they had to sell players. Just quickly, say they had to sell players.
Oh, is this your,
just quick,
you
one
said
little
you
game.
Prepped a little
I wanted to have a little fun with it. Because I like to have fun with things, because it's not, football's so serious at times. Let's have a little fun. People in the comments, one player, you can go to City, you can pick one player because they need to get rid of their players. Arsenal, allowed to pick one player. Who are you taking from that City side? Who are you taking?
I know who Jordan's taking. It's Edison to play him number 6. One player, one.
I've got someone.
Player.
Oh, there's some mixed comments.
I'm going for.
Kingsley said mine. Go on.
I'm going for.
Kingsley said my player. Let's see if he's gonna.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Why? So then you're in Arsenal. So you're taking Kevin De Bruyne to replace Odegaard.
No, I think this is where you could. Oh, this is where.
Go on, James. Get here we go.
Brain
here we go.
Kicks in. I just think we're really well equipped and covered in loads of areas, but we need a midfielder. Now you could say, all right, well, you want cover for Partey, Rodri.
That was me. That was me. Hello.
Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, Rodri.
Oh, okay.
Big up best in the world.
We'll hear that poor take in a sec. But with
go on.
You could even go Gundogan because he's a box to box. That's kind of what we need. You could see how he'd do well in this kind of Xhaka role at the moment. But with De Bruyne, you put him on the right, combining with Saka and Ben White. You put Odegaard then on the left, and you basically go back to 2017 Man City of Fernandinho, De Bruyne, David Silva, but just do it with Partey, Odegaard, De Bruyne. And imagine Saka gets the ball, cuts inside, and De Bruyne has just made the overlap the other side. Or Saka stretched the pitch, De Bruyne has made the underlap. Or De Bruyne, Saka, they're doing the thing, and White comes in. I just think the interchangeability would be unreal.
Okay.
You've even got someone who can put it onto his left foot and whip it to the back post, that kind of curling towards the post cross that we know Odegaard gets right a lot. You could whip it from a different angle, fire across goal, the kind of service to Jesus or Nketiah might like. I think it'd be perfect, honestly.
That Galactico...
It's not happening,
So that Galactico thinking...
It's not Galactico thinking.
Partey gets injured, which happens. Jorginho, De Bruyne... Martin.
But Jorginho would be fine because he's just got the most elite midfield to distribute. And then he'll be playing with De Bruyne like Guardiola intended all those years ago.
Oh,
see, I've thought of it all. But look, being deadly serious, this is why when we do this stuff, do we need more long-term dependable cover for Partey?
Right.
Yes,
100%.
we do. We need a Caicedo or a Rice or whatever. Do we need a left-sided box-to-box midfielder to compete with Xhaka, understate to Xhaka, whatever it might be? Sure. But if you tweak the kind of roles and responsibilities you give the team, and you do go for that more Man City kind of two creative, almost like deep tens in a midfield three, then that could work. That's why I've liked links with players like James Maddison, because James Maddison does have that sort of ability a little bit with both feet, that final delivery.
Yep.
He could play in the midfield if you're organised enough. Why not?
He can get back a little bit. He doesn't have to go all the way back. He can be boxing.
Tell me Rodri. Why Rodri?
Well, is more the Partey one cover, but also very much competition. I would feel so comfortable. Partey is such an integral role to this Arsenal side for me. Like when we've mentioned it so many times when he's not in the side. Even it's not Jorginho's fault, but even when he come off the other in the last game, I could see the drop, and many times I see the drop. And yes, okay, we've got Jorginho, but I feel like you put Rodri there, you definitely don't miss Partey as much. I think Rodri breaks up the play.
The starting 11 though. This is an opportunity to take a player from Manchester City.
Do you know what? Yeah.
And are you saying you're not going to take anyone?
In my notes.
By the way, sorry, you might have done, because Rodri, in many people's eyes, is a better defensive midfielder than Partey.
Of course,
so maybe you have, but not massive.
There's not the level that you of improvement.
At most, you've just added a little bit to position that when our first choice is available is extremely strong anyway. So the question is, what else can you do with that Man City squad to add to this?
Yeah,
we've already done our fair bit of shopping, to be fair.
No, we have.
Zinchenko, Jesus, Pablo Mari.
But this is why I wanted to do this fun activity. Now,
not the same Pablo Mari.
You've pressed me there, and you're right to. I feel like the team, the 11, is strong enough to be, as clearly seen, top of the Premier League right now. When we have our 11, we're better than any team in the Premier League. That's how I feel. The 100% fit 11.
Feels that way, yeah.
If we have Rodri in there, yes, you're right. There's an argument, is he better than Partey or not? That's down to your own personal preference. No, it doesn't elevate it to the levels of Kevin De Bruyne, but I also think there's a risk in bringing Kevin De Bruyne into this Arsenal side. I'm trying to explain, I'm trying to figure out what the risk is.
You'll get too many assists.
Just maybe like...
He's not been in great form.
It hasn't been to the level that, like you said, of past and like you said recently, but yeah, it does elevate the side, and you're right, Rodri going in, it doesn't take it to the level maybe that Kevin De Bruyne does, but it's the part, that position, I'm happy with either of them starting, and we still are the best. I think you're...
So what we hope, what, Man City get this punishment and they have to sell their players and no one wants to be there, and Arsenal sweep in to get one of their players. Is that the...
Yeah. Not many people mention Haaland, which I'm surprised by. Because a lot of people want him to strike.
That is wild.
Which a lot of people want...
Haaland. Oh my... Well... I love Jesus. People do the whole, look at the goals, look at the goals Haaland scored. And I get it. But Liverpool have had tremendous success with Firmino leading the line. He didn't get a load of goals. So systems are big. Systems are a massive part of...
But Haaland, does he do well on this Arsenal side? He definitely scores goals because they will actually look for him. Unlike
I'm not
City
sure he does. I think this Arsenal side is comparable to the way City played with their front three.
Back in the day,
the alternating front three and the...
So then Alvarez, I hear that
Alvarez, I love.
Says Alvarez.
But I Jesus for me. I still want Jesus at his best in this starting 11 for me. He's been mesmerising. Okay, he's had his injury. And Nketiah's been really good backup. So, look, it's a fun game. I don't want to take this too seriously. I know some of you will.
Apologies as well. The time is flying, and we have just a few more things just quickly to get through. So let me just quickly carrying on with the super chats, we just spent a bit of time on there because Joe Wright at 5:45 said, I'd take Phil Foden. Didn't mention Phil Foden either.
He said it all the way at 5:45.
Yeah.
It's only 10 to 6.
Yeah. Oh, that was only 6 minutes ago. Oh, just leave me alone.
Oh my word, this came in at 5:45, everyone.
I've never read a time for a super chat, by the way, ever, but I have the access for it
in the back. 9 a.m.
Shref for the super chat says, didn't Premier League become best league because Big Six clubs bought best coaches and players at any cost? Shouldn't that been investigated and stopped years ago? Why now?
But there's nothing wrong with the bigger, let's say, richer clubs coming for the best prospects at clubs that don't have that same stature or money or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not anything that should be investigated. That's just life. Like, that's just, someone has a job that earns them whatever it earns them, X amount, and they quite like it, and they work 5 days a week. And then someone comes in and says, you can work 4 days a week, and we're going to give you all these tools and resources. We're going to double your fee. You're going to go.
Yeah.
No one's going to be like, what? Provided you still like that job. So it's just life. It's, it's, by the way, it's sad because this is why I love Brighton. Because Brighton have bounced back from having their manager taken a load of their staff, Kukurea, Ben White, Basuma, need I go on? Poor Mwepu, who's obviously had his heart condition. Trossard. He couldn't play. Trossard. And what have they done? Matt Ryan as well. It was a dependable goalkeeper. Yep. But they just keep, cool, all right, we'll deal with it. Dan Burn, Cole will come in. They deal with it all the time. So I love Brighton, but unfortunately, it doesn't feel sustainable that way. But that's just the nature of something that's just been built over, I guess, decades of football dominance and marketing and finances and all that, dictating kind of where everyone fits in the food chain.
They're doing well though, because they probably have Casado go as well. Mitoma might not last until the end of the season. Well, at the end of the season as well. They're sure they'll make big signings with them players leaving as well.
McAllister, Mitoma,
McAllister, of course,
as well. They will all be in super high demand. Yeah. Colwell then goes back from his loan at Chelsea. Look, it's just unless Arsenal are targeting some of these players, I really hope they keep most of them because they deserve to. Fantastic club.
AMT says Foden because of his young age. Oh, I also like Rico Lewis, by the way. Really like Rico Lewis as well. I think he's a good player, but you don't go to Man City, pick one player and go, oh, what? No, you don't. You don't go Rico Lewis. But I like Rico Lewis, I must say. Foden's a good shout. Also, I forgot about players like Mahrez. I know he's not. I know we've got Saka, but Mahrez is just.
Mahrez is special. Yeah, he's a really special player.
And under Arteta, I think he would. I mean, he's been under obviously when he was assistant to Pep, but I think he just elevates even more. Anyway, let's go back to super chats because we've got some more to get through. Waleed says, I really hope City don't get a point deduction this season because if we win the league, I don't want to be known as the asterisk league title.
I just don't think they're going to come to a conclusion by the end of I just don't think they are. And by the way, okay, but look, it's not like with 5 points behind them and then suddenly they get a 10-point deduction and now we're top of the league. But they're on merit. We've been the best team this season. If if we get over the line, then you got to say fair play. You can. I don't know.
Brandon says in the chat, "Is James all right? Seems just a bit tired."
I'm exhausted.
Sorry, I had to read that comment because today's
absolutely exhausted. Last week was mad, and then this. Sorry, it shouldn't. I don't want it to come across on videos. I don't know if I'm dozing off there listening to Cecil, but
hey,
no, we are having fun. But it's just today as well. We had Tactical Insights, all the tactics on DR Sports. Go check it out, and it's just been very, very busy. So apologies that's coming through. Also, sometimes I don't wear my glasses. I look more tired, but yeah.
AB says Cecil failed his English class for sure. I actually didn't. I thought I got an A. I said an A to, I think, in the group when we were speaking in the office the other day, but I actually got a B. I checked. But still, it's not fun.
I got like a B or a C. Yeah, I hated English. I know, right? Because I then went and did a master in journalism. I know, it's weird, but I did
basically know that, but I forget, every time you tell me that, it shocks me.
Basically, the conclusion I came to is I don't give a shit about Romeo and Juliet and The Great Gatsby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like that was basically the conclusion.
Midsummer Dream and all that, yeah.
Yeah, that one. That was rubbish.
You didn't have to do all. Yeah, you did, yeah.
That was a comedy, apparently, and
and To Kill a
Oh, was it?
Oh, did I have To Kill a Mockingbird? Anyway, we're going off topic.
Much Ado About Nothing. That's the other one. Oh,
right.
awful.
Michael.
Sorry, Shakespeare, if you're watching this.
Michael Anderson said, check your WhatsApp inbox. I sent you a video of Calidus from Hamlet talking about Man City. You? Because I don't think Michael has my number. Does he? No, I hope not. Does he?
Oh,
Sorry,
no, Michael. Is this Michael from Boston? Michael would have sent it into the WhatsApp where people used to send in their videos for full time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I probably had my number. I was like, I don't know Michael Anderson. Anyway, okay. We'll check that. Don Robbie Devstairs says, Rodri in the transition defensively, he ain't it, bro. 1,000 passes or 10,000 passes, his way into good stats. Get me De Bruyne as El Neni back. I generally think Haaland stops fluidity. Okay, thank you very much. Right, let's go into, because it's hitting the hour. Let's get to just some bits I picked up. I went around the stadium today, just briefly. I'm giving everyone the update on the stadium wrap.
You got photos?
They'll be coming up as on your screen right now.
That looks nice.
That's my favourite.
It's not my favourite.
No.
I'll actually go as far as say it's my least favourite. I think I love the story. Like, you got the Invincibles, but it's not
your fave.
It's not my fave design wise, but the red sky, the trophies being lifted.
The one with the flags of the fans around the world gave me goosebumps.
That is
today,
really cool.
Seeing this,
that is very cool.
I don't know what it was. I was just like, wow.
No, because it just screams what this Arsenal team and club have been about the last year and a half, which is togetherness, which is,
support around the world.
Everything.
How big the club
just
is.
representing fans around the world. It's amazing. We've got a club and a group of players that are, from different places around the world. That some are experienced players, some are younger players. And I love it. I love that. Is probably
that's my
second favorite. That's my second favorite. It's really, really nice.
I can't believe I took these photos of my phone. Oh, you love this one.
This is so cool.
And this one actually looks banging.
This is so good because it actually looks like it's like they've designed it very well. Just kind of look like at first glance, you think
it's Highbury. Yeah, it's Highbury.
Well, you don't think you don't turn up thinking, "Oh, I'm at Highbury."
And there's Emirates above it, but no, it's smart.
It doesn't look like a painting or a picture or a print or whatever, however they do it, but it's really cool. The Arsene nose with Arsene Wenger waving. Yeah, I think Alan Smith's in there. As well. Is David Seaman? Who is that sitting with the trophies on the corner, just on the edge? Do you see it at the bottom? Sort of sitting on the edge. Come to my end. See there? My word says.
No, sorry, I can't see. Oh, okay. I can see there. Yeah, sorry. Is that?
I'm not sure who that is. I probably should, but it's the first time I've noticed.
No, Chapman? I don't know. It might be.
So let me know in the comments.
Ian Wright as well, I think he's hanging out the window on the. Yeah, he's up there with his vest on. I think it says 179. I think that's.
I mean, that is really special. Like that, lovely. Really kind of. It's
Bertie
just
me.
Turning it into the cover of the Emirates. Sorry, it's turning the Emirates into like a little patch of Highbury. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it faces the Highbury.
It faces the Highbury. It's amazing.
Brilliant.
Where the exits go to the Highbury.
And it's such the white, the marble halls. They say, it's just also class. The old crest, and then just people from our history that made this club what it is. I think it's really, really special.
It's beautiful. All right, and and this one as well.
Nice.
Gold cannon.
It's nice. It's all right. I mean, look, it's
nice. It's all right.
And you look at the others. Some of the others I just said were really cool. True. This one again, you've got sort of Victory Through Harmony, Victoria Concordia Crescent, and all that. You've got the 1886 on the cannon. You've got some legends as well. And that's fantastic.
RIP Rocky as well. What a legend. It's nice that they got him in there and included him there as well, with Ian Wright on the other side as well. Rocky Roadcastle and Ian Wright with the behind next to the cannon with his hands in his ears. I love all that. Listen, you're right. This is the most. It's not going to say underwhelming. That sounds harsh, but it's not of all the others. This one is a little bit lower. Gunnosaurus tied to the cannon is quite funny as well. But I have to mention as well.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I have to mention that there's still 3 panels to be done.
So how many have they done out of how many? I don't know how many
there's 3 left, but I know there's always forward. Yeah. Oh, right, 1886, of course.
The 1886. You took these photos.
I know, and sent them in. I'm so sorry.
That's really nice. It's just clean. Like this is when we were founded. Always forward is part of our slogan, as well as Victory Through Harmony.
Yeah.
And it's just nice, and it's got the Arsenal font, and it's and it's not the red and white. It's what we're using to announce new signings. Got a bit of gold on there. Yeah, I really, really like it.
Dave Jordan says 5 out of 8. Thank you very much. Even though I went down there and took all the photos, and I just don't know.
He took all the photos.
and
then he knew how many were left.
Yep, and then
he didn't know how many total there were going to be.
But here we are. Then right.
I also just want to add just on that very quickly. While it kind of would have been unacceptable if they hadn't done this, I love the way they've blended the sort of the history of the women's team with the men's team in sort of the depiction of the art and all that. I think that is just all brilliant. We've seen that the women's team have been generating record-breaking crowds. You know, I was at the North London Derby, the 4-0 win. There is massive support. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I think it's really important that the Emirates feels like their home as well, which it is, obviously. So I think that's all just fantastic. They've done a really good job.
They really have.
And I'm really excited
because there was a lot of people,
finish.
I think, waiting to see and maybe waiting to scrutinise or whatnot. But I think they've covered everything. I hear there's going to be a fan wall going up as well around the stadium with like some iconic fans and their faces on there. So they really are ticking off every box when it comes to representation of what it is to be an Arsenal fan from wherever you're from. And that, for me, just it bodes well for me and in my heart of hearts. I'm very happy to see that. Right, now, I know we are coming towards the end, but I do need to mention this. What do we do with Balogun? Just quickly, a section. Florin Balogun in tremendous form. Let me run through some bits for you. Obviously 21 years old, 2 years younger than Eddie Nketiah, still a young player, leading scorer in Ligue 1, 14 goals, currently outscoring obviously Messi and Mbappe. Only 18 months left on his contract at Arsenal. He went on loan book to Middlesbrough before this, but he's absolutely smashing it over there with Rems. His manager, Will Still, funny name for me, I think, but a superb manager, by the way. A superb manager, speaks English and French. There's viral clips of him just speaking to each player and getting a reaction out of each player. He gets fined, I researched this, 25,000 euros every match because he hasn't finished his pro license. If you guys didn't know that, so he has to obviously finish his pro license course to then manage a club of that stature. But the club is being fined 25 or 23,000 euros each game, which they're paying because it's a worthy investment. He's doing really well. But Florin Balogun is a star of that. Is a star of that team right now. And the reason why, I know we are running low on time, but what do we do with him? When he comes back in summer, does he have the fair enough rights to be like, I've done my loan spells. This is a Saliba situation. I've done my loan spells. My stats are good. Probably better than most expected. I'll put my hand up. I said I think he needs a few loans. This will be it. What do you do with him? Do you integrate him into the first team? Is he too similar to Eddie Nketiah? Does he get a role in there? Do you extend his contract? Do you send him on another loan? Do you sell him and make a big profit for him? You as a fan, people watching it can get involved in the comments. What do you do? People saying keep him. That's fine. Does he start? I don't know.
The thing.
Like where does he go?
Keep.
I wanted a striker. I really did. I wanted a striker in the January window. I wanted them in the last summer window. Where are you guys now? Where are you at? Do you need a striker? Do you find a way to? Is he too similar? Do you find a new style in the summer? Do you
look?
Sorry, this is a big question for the last thing to round up on, but
I think we should do a video on this. I think we should look at everything. We should look at all the evidence. We should sit up there on that screen and really break down everything we know, from what room we got in the squad to what this squad needs, to let's look at some of the goals he scored as well. Let's analyse the goals he scored, how he scored them, the kind of supply, the team he's playing in. I think we can really break this down. We can do it as an in focus video together and actually look at what we should do with Balogun. So look out for that in the coming weeks. We'll plan that. But what I do know is that Arsenal have to make a decision this summer. Now, it's so funny because it goes back to, was it end of 2020, early 2021, where Arsenal were having to, I think it was early 2021, where Arsenal was still in the process of negotiating a new contract for Balogun. And he did sign one.
Yep.
But this is why, well, I'm extremely critical of what Chelsea have done with their 7.5, 8.5 year contract. 3-4 years never feels like enough, really.
Right.
And I understand why there's a motivation for players and clubs not to tie each other down to too long deals, because loyalty in football is dying a slow and painful death.
Yeah.
But
and you don't want to rot in a club, sorry, from a player perspective.
Right, but at the same time, Arsenal now, they just had it with Martinelli, though he signed his deal. They're having it with Saka and Saliba. Well, Saliba's slightly different because we signed him a long time ago. And now they're with Balogun as well. They're going to have to make a decision. And these contracts were discussions 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago this was being talked about. Summer of 2020. Bukayo Saka signed a new contract, I believe. Same time as Martinelli. Only the year before that, Saliba had joined the club. Okay, that's probably been a regular amount of time. You'd expect that. But, you know, we're talking 2021, 21-22. So we're talking 2.5 years on from signing that contract. We're now discussing a new deal, which, by the way, and I'm stating the absolutely obvious here, but the new deal doesn't kick in from when that previous deal ends. It starts, so you've almost chopped off that last year and a half, 2 years, and then you're beginning the cycle. So in 2 years' time, you're thinking about it again. So it's just constant. Arsenal need to make a decision on Balogun this summer.
100%.
If you loan him out, you give him a new deal. If you keep him, you play him. Because he's not signing that new contract if he's not playing.
1,000,000% on that.
But you can't also risk him going for free because he's just had 2 storming loan spells and then you're not getting anything for him. And if none of that happens, you're not going to play him, but he's not going to sign a new contract. 50 million.
It's 50 million. I mean, that's
it's probably worth more, but a year left on his deal. Yeah, 50 million, please.
Yeah, but obviously,
someone who's newly promoted and has just come across that Premier League money can pay it.
It's very interesting. We put a poll in the chat. What do we do with Balogun next season? I'm too scared to press a button. Normally, I get involved in all these, but it's like keep, sell, another loan. But
keep, sell, another loan. Well, I'm going to put another loan if you put with brackets for me that he signs a new deal.
Okay.
75% say keep.
But 75% say keep. That's probably because, but then the people that are saying keep, it's a very easy, like, we want to keep him, he's doing well. Like I said, you need to then decide, does he start? Does he push out Eddie Nketiah for that second? Well, that's a good problem for Arsenal. Of course it is, but that is something you need to consider. Keep is just an easy way to be like, yeah, we're keeping, but he's not going to be happy not playing. Let's be real.
Man City couldn't just keep Jesus and Zinchenko. I mean, I guess maybe they could if they wanted to, but then you've got 2 unhappy players, you've got, you know, and that doesn't help the dressing room. You know, if a player has expectations to play and they've just, you got to think for Balogun, he would have just come off a year of playing at a really good level, scoring a load of goals, competing with Mbappe, Messi and Neymar in the top scorers charts in France, and you want him to just sort of, I'll just play a few Carabao Cup games. He's got to come back if he's going to stay, he's got to come back at a level that Arteta believes. Gabi, Jesus, Eddie, you guys can sit this one out. We're playing 13th in the league at home, and I'm more than happy for Balogun to play this.
Good.
That's the level you've got to be at.
Even maybe more than that, James. I'm sorry, if I was him, if I was a young striker in his shoes, I would come back and be like, you sent Saliba out on his loans. Saliba basically did what I did, effectively. He went and played against, you know, the Mbappes, and yes, he got young player in that league, young player of the year, but he did what I'm doing right now, and he's now a figurehead in Arsenal.
Sorry, Dave Jordan says, I think we should slag Balogun off for 3 years like some fans did with Eddie to see if he's tough enough.
Dave.
Outrageous.
But yeah, if he's coming back, he'll be saying, look at the William Saliba model, and you put him straight back in the side, and now he's like the main guy here. What more could I have done on my loan spell to not deserve that, or at least a starting spot?
Big decisions.
It is big decisions, but that is for you guys to decide. So we'll throw it over to you guys. What do you do with Balogun come the end of the season? Guys, that is it for this live show today. It's very cold. I'm wearing a Jamaica top because
the new.
This isn't the new one. This isn't the new one.
But the new one
is out. Oh, the new one is out.
So nice.
Beautiful. Adidas collaboration. They come together. Jamaica, my home country, and Adidas. I will be getting the kits. Big up CONCAF as well. But forget that. Look at James's lovely top that he's wearing. Air Ramsdale. It's merch that obviously we provide.
Mic. Look at that. So we had it all planned.
Shop.aftv.co.uk. Go and get your merch. Go and join in. I know, apologies, I'm not wearing it today, but Jamaica, other side, hold tight the gang. But you can go get all your merch on the website there. Look out for all the content coming your way from AFTV as well. Plenty more content, obviously, build up for the game come Saturday against Brentford at home. Look out for all of that. Robbie on the overlap as well. You might see that as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm saying it. I would like to big up my people. Big up Robbie. He's over there filming that.
Spoilers.
Spoilers alert. But that's what you get when you're with us, me and James.
Speaking of spoilers, have you seen the trailer for Ant-Man?
Yes. I see it's available to watch. I haven't actually watched
trailers. They keep dropping them.
Yeah, so I'm sure I saw it and watched one. Anyway, but I saw that. Yeah,
that looks good.
That does look good.
I'll be talking about it on my channel.
Right, and check out James' channel. Go and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to him, subscribe to AFTV. Subscribe to James. Like this video if you like the video. Guys, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Peace.